In thinking back and reflecting on the year, with the leadership training that we've done, I've seen personally a lot of change in not only myself as a team leader, but also as our group of team leaders. And, I would say that the single biggest thing that I've seen is just a collective group effort on a lot of different things. When we sit down in those meetings and we have these discussions about things, I think we all genuinely realize that this is something and these are things that we can implement in our school and really make the learning environment and the experience for our students just that much better. I really think this is kind of the culmination of a couple of years now of change that we've gone through as a building at Lincoln. We've been trying really hard to move away from the role of a team leader being strictly a manager, making sure the bus lists are right for field trips and things like that, and really looking at us as instructional leaders and what we can do to help our team and ultimately our students achieve our district mission, but also just have a positive experience while they are here at Lincoln. And I think that throughout the training we've had all the different grade levels sitting there, being able to share ideas, being able to see what's going on in 7th and 8th grade, since I'm a 6th grade team leader, and seeing what's working for them and seeing how that can play out for us. Having discussions about small things like a homework policy, which is actually a rather big thing, but we're wrapping our heads around things that can really truly change the way we look at education in our school. And the small things we've done already have made a huge impact. One small thing that we've done that a lot of, or almost every teacher in the building took advantage of, is out of our one of our discussions on deprivatization is talking about seeing each other teach, which is not something any of us had really done before. And I myself got to go see an 8th grade teacher teach, and that was kind of an experience for me, not being in an 8th grade classroom. And we had teachers going into exploratory classrooms and seeing what the work that's going on in there, and it really opened, I think, a lot of people's eyes to see just a variety of experiences that a kid has when they walk through just one day here. And that really had some impact on oh, that's an idea that I could use in my classroom, or I hadn't thought about that, or it's interesting that student acts that way in that classroom. So there's been a lot of examples of things that we've taken out of this and used in our school that's had a great impact. But I would say that the biggest impact that I've seen with our group in general is that we're very honest and open with each other. There's no competitiveness within grade levels, which sometimes was the case. If you were on one team, you did this thing and you had a reputation as this. Whereas now I think we are much more cohesive as a grade level. I know the 6th grade team leaders get along very well. We share a lot. We have constant discussion about what we're doing. But then for the first time, really, we're now seeing across the grade level. We're looking at what 7th and 8th grade is doing. They're looking at what we're doing. We're looking at things, like this homework policy, so that a kid goes into one classroom, and it doesn't matter what classroom they go into, they have the same experience. And we're having those open conversations at the table for the first time. We're no longer trying to protect things, this is a 6th grade thing or it's an 8th grade thing. We're trying to, I think, really define what a Lincoln thing is. And that's what I've seen as one of the biggest changes we've gone through this year. And we're continually moving in that direction of really having a Lincoln experience. That's not to say that we want every teacher teaching the same in the building, but we also want the expectations, and what we look for in the level of, student achievement in our building to be consistent. And I really think that this has pushed us in a long way just by those open, professional dialogue that we've had and will continue to have into the future.
The biggest change that I've seen this year as a team leader, and I've been doing it for about 7 years now, is the interprofessional learning communities to deprivatization. I've seen a willingness across the building to share. People now are getting out into the other grade levels to see what's happening in the classroom and bringing those techniques back into their classroom. They're new techniques that possibly we haven't seen, or ones that people that have been teaching for a long time forgot about because there's so many things to learn in education. But we've really seen an increase in an interest in not only seeing other grade levels, but seeing teachers within our grade level as well.
I had the opportunity to go and see Angela Hall teach about 2 months ago, and the main purpose for me going into her classroom was to get an idea of things that were going on and just kind of see how she approached guided reading. So it was something that I was looking into implementing into my classroom. So I was able to see her go through the steps with her class, and it was really beneficial for me to see it in action and not just hear about it and hear the wonderful things, but also to see how it directly impacts her students and how she was able to have that one-on-one connection with them. And I would absolutely recommend it, and I would absolutely do it again. It was just very beneficial to see, and also to have that conversation with her afterwards.
I think one fundamental change that we've made as a result of our leadership training this year is just a more collective mind as far as the grade levels go. Within sixth grade, for example, we work together and discuss discipline procedures and implement those across grade level. And now, as a result of what we've put together as a sixth grade level, seventh grade is now looking at developing the same thing essentially, or using ours as a jumping off point.
You know, a great moment of change that occurred on my team was actually when we got the homework assignment of discussing the norms and discussing the challenges that we face as team leaders. And it was a great opportunity for my team to just sit down and collaborate and work together as far as understanding where we're all coming from and the individual challenges we face in a team meeting situation. And then as we had that discussion, it really opened up our eyes, and we had an opportunity to see each other's perspective on how we kind of look at a team meeting, what we expect within a team meeting. And I think with that, we've really changed, and we've had an opportunity to grow as a team, and I think we're moving forward. And now we're all coming with those same norms, and what we're looking at now is moving towards next year is taking some of this and translating it down to the students, and maybe changing the way they view working within groups and within a classroom setting and with classroom dynamics, and having a shared sense of norms for our classroom and for students. And really, I think this is helping us move in a positive direction, and I think we truly are growing as a team and therefore as a school.
Okay.
Having been a team leader at another school for 13 years, in the job, largely everything that I did back then could have been handled with an email. The biggest change I've seen is re-examining everything that we do, and as a result have made some changes that were energizing, and the focus didn't become on what's easiest for us. It really became on what's best for the kids. And as a result, for the first time in these last 2 years, I think I've seen a galvanized team identity, not only with the students, but with my colleagues, and it's been forward motion. It's very easy in this profession to get stale, and it's exciting to make change and to do things where we're all using the same language and using the same approaches with the students. And I think we've really created that family atmosphere.
Having been a team leader for several years here at Lincoln Junior High, one of the biggest changes I've seen in our working as a team is our work in collaboration, in taking a look at the work that's right for kids. And in doing that, being very reflective about it, looking at assignments and saying, what is the purpose? Where do we want kids to go? Using the backwards design and planning for kids in a way that makes a difference for their learning. The reflective dialogue has caused us to take a look at work samples of the kids and truly then say, are they meeting the objectives that we've set? It's that reflection and collaborative work of taking that risk together, being open and willing to say, hey, did we meet the goal we set for the kids or didn't we? If I had to think about any one thing being different, it would be that willingness to reflect on the work and finding the right work for kids.
wide variety of kids in this classroom, and some of the kids that were in here needed some extra help, so we had decided together that guided reading would be most beneficial to meet their different needs.
Yeah, we really wanted to differentiate so that we could give the kids what they needed rather than just a one-size-fits-all kind of approach. And so we looked at guided reading to help with differentiation and flexible grouping so that we could place students in groups based on their need, whether it's reading level at times, skill level, interest level at times, the flexible grouping to help them get better at reading and have that quality small group time with them.
And I think one of the great things was also watching them become more fluent and more comfortable with their own reading and their comprehension. They've made great gains throughout the year, so it's been a wonderful learning tool.
Overall, the changes I've seen in Team Leader over the last couple years have been maintaining that balance of manager and leadership, and past practice has been the management piece of dealing with numbers and dealing with the basic every day-to-day operations, and we've really made a transition into the leadership part of it, primarily being instructional leaders. The team leader role now has a much greater impact on curriculum and consequently sees a greater impact on students.
4 years ago, we started a process of being strictly managers, and it wasn't the right work. And this group was challenged to look at themselves differently and consider leadership, and if they could have direct impact. There's absolute evidence that team leaders impact student achievement every day, not just in their classrooms, but across the school. They're visionary, and that's the greatest change I have seen. It's their school, always has been, but they see the bigger picture, and it's just a great pride point to be a part of it. The training has given them the tools and the tool chest that I talk about often to be able to take that to a new level, and the possibilities are endless. We've tried to be innovative and smart about our work and get any barrier out of their way, so the potential, amazing. I'm grateful for the work they've done. It's made all the difference in the world.